If you ever feel like there isn't enough big budget AAA games in the VR market, let me take you back to a time of the days of the HTC Vive and the days when Todd Howard was only on his third time reselling Skyrim. Bethesda at one point was trying to sell us these big AAA titles like they were super immersive borderline remakes made for VR. Newsflash, buddy, these games stink like 3-month-old cat piss. It's no wonder why no AAA developer is willing to dip their toes into the VR scene. Todd Howard was like, hey guys, watch this cool backflip, except he didn't backflip to success, he backflipped to the back.
I'm not kidding.
So I recently picked up Fallout 4 and Skyrim VR, and my goal for this video is to play them unmodded, I might add, and give them a review in the modern day. Sure, they can't be that bad, and right. Alright, Viewie hot take hour. Skyrim, VR or not a good game. There, I said it. This game is more boring than a girl's dream of being the next Charlie D'Amelio. Skyrim is like trying to play a game of Dungeons and Dragons, but instead of playing with friends, you're in a room alone and you have to do everything by yourself. So because I have the best opinion of Skyrim and you can't change my views on Skyrim, sorry, I don't make the rules. You can comment all you want. I'm right, you're wrong. I'll be reviewing just the few things like combat and movement, because the most story I know about this is that you get to some dragon and you have to stop someone, and that's the farthest I've ever gotten. Combat in Skyrim VR is like taking a Wii remote and trying to play some Beat Saber, but haha, JK, it's like a saber, but it's also a sword, and you have magic. Combat in Skyrim is like trying to open a pack of ramen, but instead of opening it normally, you have to use spoons to slice it open. Your sword movement has no relation to what the game is doing. Think of it like this. This area is bad, and this area can take damage. If we can get one more area, we can count to a number bigger than what Gabe Newell can count to. Also, you know that one mechanic where you can put away your weapons? In VR, it's the most busted system. If I can manage to figure it out, I can't pull it out when it's needed most, but if I don't put them away, guards will be antagonized by me. It's really just not a good situation. Bows and arrows aren't too bad, but aiming in VR has never been great. Magic isn't too bad, but if your character isn't centered around magic, you're most likely going to be gimped by the whole experience. I only managed to get towards the first dragon fight, only stopping because just thinking about that dragon fight in VR gives me more stress than putting on my index without bending the cable. Movement isn't anything special. It's more or less just the forward motion of the analog stick to move your character forward. Easy stuff. I'm only bringing this up because it's a quick segue into the experience and alright, another Viewy hot take, more like a hot statement. Fallout 4 is the only Fallout game I've ever beaten, and from what I've heard complain about this game, the dialogue, not that bad. The story is pretty mid, I will admit. So with that being said, I can actually give my full opinion because it's the only one I've ever beaten. That being said, normally Fallout 4 is your pretty standard shooter. You see something that you don't like, we can just get rid of that with a peaceful protest. We're fine, it's nothing happened. But Fallout 4 VR, welcome to what the wasteland. Here's a shitty pistol that reloads at the press of a button. Oh, you want to reload the gun with your own hands? Whoa there. I don't think you know what you're asking for. That's some serious stuff you're asking for. Melee is just about what you'd expect from Skyrim, the crossbreed between Beat Saber and Blade and Sorcery, but at least Fallout has guns that you can fire on your own. Also, they thought to do this super cool thing called not add scopes into the game, so you were forced to either mod your game or wait until Bethesda fixed it, which I think is super innovative. I didn't like using my weapons as intended. I need my father in Christ, Todd Howard, to guide my hands into aiming perfectly. The UI made me want to throw my headset in the trash where this UI belongs. The UI in Skyrim isn't that bad. It's about what you would expect, so I didn't mention it. The UI in Fallout, imagine you were trying to make pancakes, but while cracking the eggs, you had someone tie a string to your wrist and move them completely at random. The way the game knows when you use the analog sticks is designed so poorly that when you actually use them, it snaps back to center. The game thinks that the fast movement is you pressing down. You have this dance going on where you're just forced to jitter the analog stick up and down in order to get what you want, if that even works. The main critique I brought up earlier about the dialogue, yeah, sure, it might not be as in-depth as other titles, but imagine Fallout 4 dialogue, but instead you use the thumbstick as your main method of selecting what you're trying to say. The UI is designed so poorly you would think it was designed by the Gucci designer team. The UI is designed so poorly that I would have preferred to reach for my mouse in real life and select what I wanted. Now I know what you're thinking, he's been talking shit about this game all video long, and guess what? The optimization in Fallout VR is actually pretty good. Trying to fit an open world into a VR headset, which already takes enough system resources as it is pretty impressive, but let's be real here for a second. Nobody thinks that a well-optimized game is better than a game where I don't feel like I'm in a chokehold by the UI design. If Bethesda tried to sell these games today with something like Boneworks on the store page, I would be convinced that these were the only created by some low-level wage employee at Bethesda being gaslit by Todd Howard saying he'll be the manager of the next Elder Scrolls if he made these. Don't play them. They're pretty bad. Thank you all for watching. I genuinely appreciate everyone who watches these videos. It does mean a lot, and I will see you all soon.
Thomas, what's wrong with you? Do you want a little taste? Well, here.